And here is the review video for Chapter 6, Text. Again, this video matches up to your assignment. Number 5, when we are graphing, you always start off with your y-intercept. So the b, that is at 4, so that means it intersects my y-axis at 4. Then the slope is -1, so I'll go down 1 and right 1. Down 1, right 1. And you want to draw your line in as straight as possible to give us a more accurate estimation. The second line is 12, so our y-intercept will be at 12. And the slope is 3. Obviously going up 3 and right 1 won't really help me. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 1, because a negative and a negative makes a positive. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, left 1. When we connect it through with that line, sorry, that one's a wiggly line, but we can still see perfectly where it intersects. And we write our answer as a coordinate, x, y. And so the x-axis, it's at -2. And the y, it goes up to 6. So that is our final answer. So number 7. First thing we want to make sure we write our equations in y equals mx plus b form. Now, obviously, this first equation up here is written in that form, but it says that our slope is 1.5. I don't want to leave it as a decimal, so I'm going to call it a fraction. 1.5 as a fraction would be like 1 1/2. The other, of course, we don't know how to do rise over 1 with 1 1/2, so I'm going to go ahead and call it 3/2. That will be our slope. First thing we graph is up the 2. Rise over run, up 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. And then we draw our line through. And again, you want to make it as straight as possible. And now onto the second line. This one is clearly written in standard form. Remember, standard form we can use intercepts. You can move the equation around to get it to be in slope-intercept form, but I find it easier just to go ahead and make my y 0 to give me 4.5 equals -9. Divide by 4.5, divide by 4.5, and we'll get x is equal to -2. So my x-axis, I'll plot a point at -2. Now in order to solve for the y, I make x 0. So -3y equals -9. Divide by -3, divide by -3, y equals 3. So my y-axis, I will put a dot over at 3. Now we draw our line through, and obviously this one, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find the intersection because, again, we are estimating. But when I look at this, it looks like it is about at -2, 0. Again, this is just for estimates. Use a ruler if you can, and hopefully it'll be more clear. It may even be a little different than mine, but we're just estimating. Alright, next, y equals x plus 1, so we plot a point at 1. Slope is 1, so we'll go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, and draw that line through. And now we'll look at our second equation. The second equation, we're going to make y 0. So x equals, when we divide by 2, -1. Then for our y, -2y equals -2. Divide by -2, divide by -2. Y equals 1. So my x-axis, I'll have a point at -1. My y-axis, I will have a point at 1. When we draw this through, we see that it seems to be the same exact line. Now, when two lines are the same, that means we have infinitely, sorry, this is really hard, infinitely many solutions. I don't have a stylus today, so struggling. Number 11, describe when there's no solution. A graph with no solution will be when two lines are parallel. When they never intersect, ever, 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 they're parallel, that means there's no solution. Solve using substitution. So remember, substitution is where we solve for one variable. Here, if I add x to both sides, I get y equals x minus 13. Once you solve for y, we can plug everything in. 3x minus x minus 13 equals 19. So we'll keep solving. 3x, distribute this negative. 3x minus x plus 13 equals 19. 3x minus x is 2x plus 13 equals 19. Subtract 13 from both sides. 2x equals 6. Divide by 2, and we have x equals 3. Once you have that value, you can take it and plug it in up here to solve for y. So we work it out. Y equals 3 minus 13. 3 minus 13 is negative 10. So we will write our answer as an ordered pair, x comma y, 3 comma negative 10. So number 15, first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these ugly, ugly fractions. I can do that by multiplying everything by 3. When I do that, I'm left with 1y equals 7x plus 5. I can easily plug that into my bottom equation. X minus 3 times 7x plus 5 equals 5. We'll distribute our negative 3. X minus 21x minus 15. Remember, it's a negative 3, so we need to multiply that whole negative 3. Equals 5. X minus 21x will give us a negative 20x minus 15 equals 5. So we'll add 15, negative 20x equals 20. So we'll divide by negative 20, divide by negative 20. 20 divided by negative 20 equals negative 1. Once we do that, you'll plug it in up top with this top equation, and we get y equals 7 times negative 1 plus 5. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7 plus 5. And work it out, y equals a negative 2. So final answer, x comma y, negative 1 comma negative 2. Alright, here's another one where we're going to use substitution. So here we want to solve for y, because y is all by itself. So y equals negative 3x minus 13. So we want to take what we solved for y and plug it in to our other equation. So negative 2x plus 5y, negative 3x minus 13 is what it tells us y equals. Remember, put it in parentheses. Negative 54. So we're going to distribute this 5 across. Negative 2x, 5 times negative 3 is going to be negative 15x. 5 times negative 13 is going to be negative 65 equals negative 54. Now continuing on, we're going to combine our like terms. Negative 2x minus 15x is negative 17x minus 65 equals negative 54. We'll add 65 to both sides, and we get negative 17x equals 11. Divide by negative 17. Divide by negative 17. X equals negative 11 over 17. Now, again, we're going to check our math. Even though we got an ugly fraction, check our math. Did we do it right? Yes, we did. So that means we're going to take this value of x and we're going to plug it in up here. Y equals negative 3 negative 11 over 17 minus 13. Negative times a negative is a positive, so that's 33 over 17 minus 13. Let's keep solving it out. We need to give them common denominators. So 13 times 17. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. So we get 1, 221. So 33 over 17 minus 221 over 17. 33 minus 221. And that will be negative 188 over 17. So we're going to do negative 11 over 17, negative 188 over 17, and that is our answer. Okay, so business number 18. The owner of a hair salon charges $20 more per haircut than the assistant. Yesterday, the assistant gave 12 haircuts. The owner gave 6 haircuts. The total earnings from the haircuts are $750. How much does the owner charge for a haircut? Write a system of equations. So, we need to read the information and try to find two equations that work. We know the owner charges $20 more than the assistant. So, the assistant's plus $20 equals the owner. We'll call the owner W, just because they don't want to call it O because it would look like a 0. Second equation, it will be if the assistant gave 12 haircuts, 12 times whatever he charges, plus the owner gave 6 haircuts, 6 times W equals 750 total. Now, what we're going to do right here, we're going to plug in our first equation for W. 12A plus 6 times A plus 20 equals 750. Now, 12A plus 6A plus 120 equals 750. Now, 12A plus 6A is 18A plus 120 equals 750. So we'll subtract 120 from both sides. We get 18A equals 630. So we'll divide by 18, and we'll get A equals 35. So the assistant makes $35. Taking this top equation, 35 plus 20 equals whatever the owner makes. So the owner makes $55. Now we get to solve them doing elimination. So we want to try to combine them in a way that will get them to cancel out. So one needs to be negative, one needs to be positive, one should be and they should be the same number. So here I'm going to take this first equation and I'll multiply by negative 5 because 1x times negative 5x will give us a negative 5. So that'll be a negative 5x. Negative 5 times 2y will be negative 10y. And negative 5 times 23 will be negative 115. So when we add them all up, over here, this cancels out, and we have 0 equals negative 60. That's not a true statement, so this would be no solutions. Now again, we're going to use elimination. We want to try something easy. I look for one that's positive and one that's negative. Here, this will be times a 3. 3 times 5 is 15x. 3 times 4y is 12y. 3 times negative 83 is going to be a negative 249. Now, here we'll multiply by 4. This is 12x. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12y equals negative 48. Here we add it up, and we will get 15x plus 12x is 27x. Positive 12y minus 12y is 0. And then add these here. Negative minus a positive is the same thing as plus a negative. It'll be 17. 4 and 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and 2. So negative 297. Divide by 27. Divide by 27. And x equals 11. So now to find our y, we'll plug it in. I'll take this equation here. 3 times 11 minus 3y equals negative 12. 3 times 11 is 33 minus 3y equals negative 12. We'll subtract 33. Subtract 33. Negative 3y equals negative 45. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. And we get y equals 15. So we put it in our ordered pair, 11, 15, and that is our answer. Number 23, again, we want to use elimination. So looking here, I have a 4x and a negative 2x, so we'll multiply the bottom equation by 2. Top equation will stay the same, 4x plus y equals 21. Second equation, we get negative 4x plus 12y equals 2 times 9 is 18. So we add them all up. We get 13y equals 39. Divide by 13. Divide by 13. Y equals 3. So we'll take that and we'll plug it in to the equation. I'm going to go ahead and I'll take maybe the top equation. 4x plus 3 equals 21. Subtract 3, subtract 3. 4x equals 18. We will divide by 4, divide by 4. X equals 18 over 4, but let's reduce that. Divide by 2 over 2, and that'll be 9 over 2. And we'll write it as an ordered pair. 9 over 2, comma 3. So 25, it takes a force 3 hours 15 minutes to make 3 small centerpieces and 3 large centerpieces. It takes 6 hours 20 minutes to make 4 centerpieces and 7 large centerpieces. How long does it take for each centerpiece? So first thing we need to do is convert hours and minutes so that we can combine them. So I know 3 hours is 180 minutes. So 180 plus 15 for this first one will give me 195 minutes. So in 195 minutes, they have 3 small centerpieces plus 3 large centerpieces. 6 hours and 20 minutes. I know that 6 hours is 360, so 6 hours and 20 minutes will be 380. 380 minutes to make 4 small centerpieces and 7 large centerpieces. And from there we can solve it how we've been solving. For time's sake, I'm not going to work it all the way out, but we can work it out, finish it out in class if you need, but those are the equations that you're going to use. Number 27, we want to first solve this equation for y, and we get y is less than negative 3 over 4x. So if you look, we have the same equation. That means it's going to be the same line, which means that we'll still graph it, 27, negative 3/4x. So that means it's at 0. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, and right 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that. Then you draw a line through. Now remember, if it's or equal to, it'll be a solid line. Since we're doing less than, we're going to do a dashed line. And we need to figure out where to shade. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll pick the point 1, 1. If I plug 1, 1 in, is 1 less than negative 3/4 times 1? Well, yes it is. 1 is less than no it's not. 1 is not less than negative 3/4. So we'll shade on the other side. And that will be our answer. Alright, so you guys know I hate dealing with decimals, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply every single one of these equations by 10. That lets us move those decimals over 1. So 10x plus 5y is greater than or equal to 55. That'll be the first equation. Let's go ahead and we'll solve everything out. If we want to find our x-intercept, we're going to make our y 0, so 10x is greater than or equal to 55. So x is greater than or equal to 5.5. Next, 5y is greater than or equal to 55. So y is greater than or equal to 11. So x is at 5.5, so I'll put a dot right about there. Y is greater than 11, so there'll be a dot about there, and then we connect them. It's an or equal to, so it's going to be a solid line. We plug in 0, 0. Is 0 plus 0 greater than 5.5? Yes, it is. So we'll graph it on that side. Now, next equation, we have 5x plus 10y is less than 65. So 5x is less than 65. We'll divide by 5. X is less than 13. So on x we'll post a dot over at 13. That'll be way over there somewhere. And our y-intercept, 10y, is less than 65. So y is less than 6.5. 6.5 is about there. We'll draw our line, and remember it's going to be a dotted line or a dashed line. Plug in 0, 0. Is 0 plus 0 less than 65? Yes, it is. So we'll graph over here. Now remember, our final solution is where they both intersect. So that would be this whole area here. Next, the first equation is not written in either form that we know, so I'm going to move it around. I'll divide everything by 2, and that'll give me a y equals mx plus b. That's 2x plus 2 is greater than y. So we're going to graph that. Our intercept is at 2, and our slope is 2, so we'll go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. We will have a dotted line, and we're going to plug in 0, 0 to see if it's true. Is 0 plus 2, or 2, greater than y? Yes, it is. So you're going to graph it here. Our next one, it's written in standard form, so we can find our intercepts. 3x is greater than or equal to 1. X is greater than or equal to 1/3, so we'll plot a point at 1/3. And for the y, negative 4y is greater than or equal to 1. So y is going to be less than or equal to negative 1/4. So at negative 1/4, we'll put a line. And it's going to be a solid line through these 2 points. Try 0, 0, see if it works. Is 0 minus 0 greater than 1? Is 0 greater than 1? No, it's not, so we'll shade underneath. And your final answer is where they both intersect here at the purple. Alright, you have 60 megabytes of space on your portable media player. You can choose to download songs that use 6.5 megabytes or video files that use 3.5 megabytes. So 3.5 for a song plus 8 for a video. It needs to be less than or equal to 60 megabytes. So let's first take care of that one. Now, if I'm going to use the letters S and V, I need to go ahead and label my axes, and I'll do it that way. S will be my x1, V will be my y1, and we go ahead and solve it out. 3.5 S is less than or equal to 60. Divide by 3.5, divide by 3.5. S is going to be less than or equal to 17.1. Now, over in the next one, 8V is less than or equal to 60. So we'll divide by 8, divide by 8. V is less than or equal to 7.5. So those will be our intersections. S is 17.1, that's way off on the side. And V is 7.5, so it'll be about here. Now I know it's going to be very, very steep. I'm just going to estimate it. On the test, will be a much better number. Your graphs, you can actually cross through that axis on 17. Plug in 0, 0, 0, 0, less than or equal to 60. Yes, so we'll shade on this side of the line. Next, it says that you want to download at least 12 files. So that means that when we take S plus V, it should be at least. At least means more than or equal to 12 files. If we use our intersections, S is greater than or equal to 12, and V is greater than or equal to 12. Again, we'll estimate about there and there. It's going to be a solid line. That's not a very good one. And we'll plug in 0, 0. Is 0 plus 0 greater than or equal to 12? No, it's not, so we want to shade on the other side of that line. Now, the places that they would intersect is right here in this area, so this would be the solution set. I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you for the test.